welcome to the Pylon to Pylon podcast, where we love football and hate your opinion. Joined always by your host, Skylar Burkhart,
Austin Brazelko,
Donnie Druin.
Back again talking about draft season and the great time to be alive right now because all the rumors and all the stories are coming out, making our heads spin. Guys, are you ready for this?
Oh, I love Combine Week.
Combine's over. Time to get down to the nitty-gritty of it. First up here, we're going to talk about what's on everyone's mind right now. And basically every phone line out there and text line, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. Kyler Murray, number one to the Cardinals, what everyone is basically saying. What do you guys think on that?
Where there's smoke, there is fire.
True, but how many times have we seen smoke actually be a screen? That's the thing.
This would be the most devoted smoke screen I've seen.
Yeah, I don't know. It's too far. We're people listening right now. It will be exactly 50 days until the NFL draft.
Yes, and they still have pro days for Bosa, pro days for Kyler, and pro day for apparently the third other person, according to I believe it's Daniel Jeremiah that reported the Cardinals have already narrowed it down to Bosa, Murray, and Quinnen Williams.
I mean,
Quinnen Williams put on a show at the Combine, so I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at that.
That man moved fast. I did not expect him to run the 4.
I saw him, I was like, is that Williams? No, it was someone else.
Anyways, back to Kyler. I feel like, there's reasons to not put a lot of stock into it, but if you look at the ties, Kingsbury tried to recruit Kyler Murray out of high school to play in his Texas Tech air raid system. He's tried to, he said back in October he would take Kyler Murray number 1 overall, and he got the Cardinals job convincing them he'd fix Rosen before Murray committed to football. I think it'd be a whole different situation had Murray committed beforehand and then Kingsbury interviewed.
I mean, I could agree with you on that. But with Kyler Murray, he's so talented, and everything that I've been seeing, everyone just makes it seem as a done deal, for sure. Like, they've already decided there's no Nick Bosa, there's no Quinnen Williams, and these rumors with Josh Rosen coming out saying they're going to trade him, and then also with the Rosen incident with his Instagram, only just add to that fire that's coming that Murray's already decided is the number 1 pick, and they're just kind of twiddling with it at this point.
You see, I think there's two things going on here. I think they legitimately are interested in taking Kyler Murray number 1, but I think that they're also gauging Josh Rosen's value because they're not going to get rid of Josh Rosen for a 4th, a 5th round pick to take Kyler number 1 overall.
I mean, from what I've heard, they're wanting a 1st round pick, but what they're seeing is a 2nd to 3rd as of right now.
I've heard they've got nothing, jack squat in an offer.
From what I've heard, they've been going back and forth. There's just like random things I've heard is that they're waiting to they're going to draft Murray, and they're going to get Rosen either before the draft, after the draft, or training camp. Because if a quarterback goes down, that's when his value could go up.
You can't though, because Rosen, the moment, especially with Rosen's personality, the moment Kyler Murray is drafted, he's going to be tuning you out. He's going to want nothing to do with it.
That's what they were thinking of too. They're saying, is he going to be a team player or is he going to light this building afire?
No, he's not. That's kind of the main attribute of Josh Rosen, that he's an alpha male. He's a dog. If you bring somebody in to replace him, he's not going to take that very lightly. The whole Kyler Murray situation is a very hard one to read. Like I said, we're 50 days away from the draft. Anything can happen. I mean, how many reports have we seen where player X was supposed to go to team Y? All the time. If I had a penny for every time we've heard that, we wouldn't be doing this podcast. We'd be on an island somewhere.
Yep.
Nope. It's just crazy, but I do agree with you where, there's smoke, there's fire. And in terms of Josh Rosen's trade value, it depends on what spectrum you're on. If you're from like a Cardinals, kind of viewpoint, you think you can get a 1st round pick for him. This dude was a top 10 pick just 1 year ago.
Right. But sadly had to play behind one of the worst teams in the NFL in the last 5 years.
But see, if I'm a team trying to trade with the Cardinals and negotiate to get him, I'm going to use that. Hey, homeboy didn't look so great last year. Yeah, granted, he played on a shitty team, had to go through multiple offensive coordinators. His first year in the league, throw behind a terrible offensive line, had a old Larry Fitzgerald to throw to, and
an injured Christian Kirk about almost the end of the season, right? think it was like after week
he
10 or
missed the
something.
last like 4 to 6 weeks.
I was like, it's after week 10.
Had no running game to rely on because the Cardinals don't know how to use David Johnson.
And didn't have any line.
The guy just, like, he was thrown into a terrible situation, and his numbers suffered because of it. And it kind of, like, brings everything full circle. It just depends on what way you look at it. If you're trying to acquire Josh Rosen, you're going to say, hey, this guy, I'm not giving you any more for a third than him. Why? Look at his numbers. Look what kind of quarterback he is. But, you know, if you're the Cardinals, you kind of want to, like, plant your feet firm on the ground and say, hey, no, he's a top 10 pick last year. You're getting, like, one of the more promising young quarterbacks, still on a rookie deal. 4 more years?
Because the 5th-year option.
Yep. I mean, he'd be a bargain if he goes to the right scenario and you can actually develop him.
Well, and here's what I have to say about this. There's one team that I think screams that makes sense more than any team out there right now. You have the Washington Redskins. They went and had Alex Smith, who had one of the most gruesome injuries we've had in the NFL in recent time, where he didn't get home out of the hospital for, like, what was it, 3 weeks? And had how many surgeries done because he almost lost his leg? Yeah. They already have his contract where they got to pay him in the high 20s, like mid to high 20 million per year the next 3 years because they just got him last offseason. So you have one of 3 options. You basically dig off the bottom of the barrel veteran QBs who could never make it and not even good enough to be backups.
Or Teddy.
You can 4 options, Skyler. You can sign a free agent QB, which, let's be honest, not even Kirk Cousins was a success as a free agent QB. Almost no one has success coming in to be your starting QB off of free agency because a team is not going to ever let a QB that has potential walk out the door. Third option, you want to draft a guy, but you have no shot at Kyler Murray, obviously. You have no shot at Dwayne Haskins, and you have no shot at Drew Lock unless you want to move up, and you'd have to move up to probably in the top 10 to get in front of Denver to get Lock, and if you want to get Haskins, you'd have to get to number 5 with the Buccaneers. So the capital you'd have to give up there would be your first this year, plus even more than that, to get up to get a rookie QB. Or you can trade away, I think, their second-round pick alone, and maybe just a little sweetener, like a receiver that's on a small deal, or even just a straight-up second-round pick, I think gets it done. You have your QB that will be on a rookie contract, so you're not paying 2 QBs $40 million between the two of them. And you can have your successor to your long-term success, because Alex Smith, let's be honest, he's already 35, wasn't going to be there another 10 years.
Yeah.
So I think Washington makes the most sense out of any teams to where it actually would benefit them, because if Rosen goes out there and has a horrible year, you gave up a second-round pick for him, okay, I go into a loaded QB class next year and take a QB.
I mean, there's been reports them want to take, like, Daniel Jones is going to probably be there at that point if they really want to take a flyer on him, too.
But do I take a guy who has a reputation as Tannehill 2.0?
No.
In the first round?
I'd rather trade for Josh Rosen than draft Daniel Jones. I would much rather give up capital.
Yeah, I think Rosen would probably be either the number 2 or the number 3 prospect behind Haskins and Murray, respectively, in this draft class. He may even be number 1, depending on what you look for.
I think I'd put him above Haskins, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd have Murray as my number 1 prospect just because of his athletic ability. But like I said, you could put Rosen at 1 if depending on what you're looking for, because Rosen's passing game is more polished than Murray's.
True.
Moving along to the number 3 pick, we're going to talk about the Jets. They've openly said they're wanting to trade the 3rd pick. What team could move up to the 3rd pick? We kind of talked about with teams want to move up for a Murray or a Lock or something.
You shut the fuck up.
I'm sorry. Fuck you, Donnie.
You're not supposed to be choking on water here. Anyways, we're going to be flying over the water with the Jets here. What team could be moving up to the Jets pick?
What team could be moving up to the Jets pick?
Yep.
I think it's gonna. I mean, it's gonna depend on who wants to get in front of the Raiders.
I think there's one team who this screams moving up to get a quarterback at, Cincinnati Bengals.
Really?
I do think they would be able to pull the trigger and put a trade offer through to move up and get their quarterback.
Even with what Zach Stacy said the moment he got that job was Andy Dalton is my quarterback. He's the only.
Awesome.
He's the only coach out of all the new hires that has endorsed his quarterback. Brian Flores has not endorsed Tannehill.
Kingsbury endorsed Rosen.
Yeah, but it wasn't a solid.
Rosen's our guy. Cool.
Yeah, but then you hear reports saying, "Oh, he's." That was also again before Murray was coming out to play football, and now you got all these reports saying he's saying Murray is a done deal to Arizona. But I'm saying from day one and consistently, the Bengals have been the only organization to consistently say Andy Dalton's their guy.
Yeah, I just don't know how like much weight a quarterback coach, Chester and head coach, is going to carry in a NFL GM's mind. I mean, let's be honest. I don't think Andy Dalton has the Super Bowl in him, at least not on the Bengals.
I don't think he has a playoff win in him.
Well, he literally doesn't.
No, that's what I'm saying. I think he will win one.
Right. He's obviously not the answer. I'm not calling him a bad quarterback. He hasn't done enough to get himself over the hump. You know, he's played on some pretty decent Bengals teams in the past and just was not able to put everything together. So I do think as the Bengals need to start looking elsewhere. They're sitting at number 11. If they're dead set on taking quarterback like I believe they are, sure. You could, hope that Drew Lock somehow falls to you, but as a wise man once told me, hope with one hand, shit the other, see what feels like that. You know, if you want a guy, you go up and get him, and I think the Bengals are the team outside of the top 10 that can move up.
What do you think they'd have to give up to move up to number 3?
God, at least they're 13 and probably, I don't know, like a second or third.
I think they'd have to give up
that or next year's first.
I think they'd have to give up next year's first because everybody will.
I mean, even if they wanted to grab
guys,
Josh Allen,
just give up Vontaze Burfict. That's all it.
Even if they wanted to trade up and not even get a quarterback, get like Josh Allen or like Quinnen Williams, get that team just like franchise defensive player.
Could you imagine Quinn Williams and then their two defensive ends? They're slipping my mind right now that they have
Carlos Dunlap and
I don't know who the other end is, but they have Geno Atkins on D tackle.
Geno, yeah. No, it's Geno and Carlos Dunlap.
Could you imagine that line?
D tackle though, isn't he?
I think they're playing a 3-4, aren't they? I'm not sure.
No, 4-3.
But could you imagine the defensive line? That's the best in football right there. You get those three on the same line. That's insane. I'd rather have that than a quarterback. I'd ride Andy Dalton to the dirt with that line.
But I mean, either them or even a team like the Detroit Lions sitting at number 8. I mean, if they were really sold on DK Metcalf and they wanted to make sure no other team got him, because I'm sure a team like the Jaguars may entertain that to get Nick Foles in free agency.
The Falcons trade up again, just like they did with Julio.
You think DK can slide up to the third pick?
Where players get drafted and where they're supposed to be drafted are two different things.
I know. 100%.
They are two completely different things.
Because every board is different.
Josh Allen was not a top 10 talent last year.
No.
Not at all. But he was still drafted in the top 10. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm saying. If a team feels strongly about a guy, they're going to go up and get him.
Right.
No matter how much it ruins my mock draft.
I think the Giants, if any team would be in play, would be to play for number 3.
Who do you think they'd move up and try to get?
Dwayne Haskins. I think the Raiders are full of shit on Derek Carr.
Well, they were shopping him at the Combine.
I know. And that's why I think the Raiders are going to make it. And this is going to be the tell-all story. If the Cardinals are full of shit on Kyler Murray, they're going to let the Raiders trade up. And honestly, John Gruden's stupid enough to probably give all 3 of their first-round picks to move up to get Kyler Murray.
Well,
whatever.
From what I've heard, John Gruden and Steve Keim are big buddies. Like, they talk all the time, and there's been nothing. So I don't think there's going to be a trade, at least with the Cardinals and Raiders. But if they're going to move up and get Murray or try to get a quarterback like that, they have to get rid of Carr first. If they can't, I wouldn't even bother pulling the trigger because Carr's due
20-some-odd million.
and that's dead cap at this point if they don't do anything, I'm pretty sure, right? Because it's still in the first part of his deal.
And that's why I think everybody knows the Raiders are interested in a QB, and it could be them just putting up a smokescreen to try to get somebody to get in front of them to then get one of those 3 premier defensive players. Because what do the Raiders need more help on any side of the ball?
Defense.
And in the trenches, which the top 3 players are trench players.
No. They need a pass rusher.
They need everything.
They need everything on the defense.
Oh, yeah.
They got rid of Irvin, they got rid of Mack, they're going to be probably getting rid of Carl Joseph. They have no corners, and they have no middle linebacker. So I think the Raiders are putting out a screen to get somebody to get in front of them.
They could stack up even more first-round picks.
No, the Raiders aren't trying to trade down. They're trying to get somebody to get in front of them to get that top 3 defensive player guaranteed, or have their choice between 2 of them instead of getting whatever's left over, which probably would be Josh Allen the way that it sounds.
It all depends who they love. If the right team trades up, they could trade back too. I mean, it all just depends. This could be crazy how this all works out. Because if there's a bunch of quarterbacks going and you can trade back a little bit and get more capital, that player that you like may still be there. It's not saying it's a done deal, but that is an option they have to play.
They wouldn't be able to move back past 6. If they want to get it,
well, that's what I'm saying. Depending on what player, like who moves up, like if everyone moves up for a quarterback, that's going to push your player back.
Let's be honest. If Murray goes 1, right? Assume Murray goes 1.
Yeah.
Bosa's going 2. I think that's the lock of what happens
if the Niners stay there too. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think the Niners move if Bosa's there.
They shouldn't.
No, they should take Bosa. And then at 3, you have a crapshoot of what's going to happen.
Nope.
But by all consensus stating,
it's defense.
It's Quinn Williams. So at the Raiders, you can either sit there and take Josh Allen, which, depending on your scheme, if you like him or whatnot, or do they run a 4-3 or a 3-4?
I think they run a 3-4.
He'll fit in a 3-4. He's a perfect.
He'll fit anywhere. We've talked about before. He'll fit either.
If you say if you like Rashawn Gary a little bit more than Josh Allen, you can move back a pick or 2.
I've seen LaShawn Gary moving up in boards. He's been.
You can't move
insane.
back like to where the Bengals are at 11 though.
They're 4-3 defense.
Okay, so probably not Josh Allen. They probably really want Quinn Williams.
I would try to like you said, smoke screen the crap out of it and get someone jump ahead of you and keep having teams jump up. Why not keep pushing?
So there's only 3 spots in front of you.
I understand. I want more teams to get quarterback needy than you. So then there's going to be more chance of you getting the player you want of that defense.
It would be beneficial for them if this QB class was better. This QB class is...
There's 3.
Okay.
There's 3, and after that's a crapshoot.
Even Drew Lock is hit or miss.
Drew Lock is supposedly the most polished out of them all.
Yeah, I've heard Haskins is the most polished out of the 3. Murray with the highest potential, but we'll see.
Because he's a dual threat.
I would love to see the draft go bonkers and see the Cardinals get picks 4, 24, and 27. That'd be fucking cool.
No, you want to see bonkers? Drew Lock goes number 1. That would set the whole world on fire if that happened.
Okay, Skyler?
Yeah.
I was like, if you want bonkers, that's bonkers.
But no,
that would be crazy though, because that kind of happened with Baker Mayfield a little bit. Last second, all of a sudden Baker jumped to 1. That
wasn't crazy though, because Baker was a top 3 quarterback going into the draft.
So was Drew Lock though. That's what I'm saying. It's almost the
He's
same.
a top 3 pick going into the draft, not a top 3 QB. Top 3 pick.
True, I did have him going to New York at number 3.
I had him at number 1, first overall pick all offseason last year.
Jets have had the 3rd pick in back-to-back drafts, huh?
They had number 6 last year. They traded.
Yeah, that's right, with Indy, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Indy made off with a haul, and I think that's what they're trying to get, because they got 3 second-round picks out of the Jets plus pick 6.
So they could be a factor to jump up too in the first round. You said Colts have 3 second-round picks?
No, they was all last year.
Oh, I thought you said this.
It was all last year. But that's just it though. The Jets were fortunate, or not the Jets. The Colts were fortunate enough to have a situation where you had Baker Mayfield, and then Sam Darnold, and then Josh Allen, and then Josh Rosen, and then Lamar Jackson. 5 players who legit had starting caliber NFL potential, and even though I hate to say this, Josh Allen has superstar potential. Baker Mayfield has Hall of Fame potential, and Rosen and Darnold has Hall of Fame potential written all over him, and Rosen had starter written all over him.
Yep.
Whereas
I couldn't deny that.
Kyler Murray's got superstar potential. Drew Lock, crapshoot. Dwayne Haskins, crapshoot. I mean, teams love Dwayne Haskins because of his accuracy, but it's not the same as last year. You're not going to get the return that they want. And somebody made a joke. The Cardinals, who didn't necessarily need a quarterback before Kyler Murray chose football, it would have been greater if they had the number 1 pick next year, because they could have traded down for a haul rather than sitting at number 1 and taking an edge.
Hey, it still could happen. It still could happen. It still could happen. If they don't address anything else and it's just Kyler Murray number 1, they could end up with the number 1 pick again. It's not crazy to think.
Well, that's just it. If you're unsure on Rosen, let him play this season and
get the number 1 pick.
See what happens. If he's dog shit, you get the first pick next year and take 2 of them.
So, speaking of superstars, let's go on to the superstar of the Combine, in a lot of people's opinion, DK Metcalf. Dude was on a whole new level once the day opened and the doors opened to Indy, and there's, bam, he took off. What are you guys' thoughts on him?
Probably the strongest combine we've seen from not just a receiver, but I guess anybody in the last couple of years. I mean, I know Saquon Barkley had himself a nice combine last year, but this might have topped it.
I don't think it topped it. I think still Saquon had the combine to beat of all time.
I don't know. Out of all the drills, DK Metcalf topped in the minimum, the 96th percentile in all of his drills except for 2.
Yeah, but that's just it. Saquon tested in the high 90s in every single drill.
I just think it's insane. For a wide receiver, we haven't seen that.
Keep in mind, this guy has severely bulked up since his neck injury.
Severely is an understatement.
And he's also playing. His diet is basically protein, no carbs, no fat, no nothing.
I'm pretty sure he just eats ex-NFL players.
Yeah, he might.
Real quick on Barkley's combine we were talking about last year. Barkley put up 29 reps on bench. It's more than Metcalf, and then that's actually more than Joe Thomas.
Yep.
Thomas put up 28.
Yep.
His 10-yard split was faster than Deshaun Jackson's. There he was coming out. His 40-yard dash was faster than Devin Hester's. Barkley ran a 4.4. And then his vertical was higher than Julio Jones. He had a 41-inch vertical. Julio had a 38.5.
Yeah. I think Barkley is one of the greatest athletes we'll see in the combine throughout our lifetime.
Yeah.
He's our version of Bo Jackson.
Thank you. I love that. Sit here wearing my Penn State shirt.
No, but it's the truth. Yeah. The dude is a freak.
Oh, but shifting back to Metcalf, man, he, like Skyler said earlier, he really took over the combine, especially with all of the hype he had coming too. I mean, I think the combine locked him securely as a top 10 pick this upcoming draft.
It locked him as the number 1 wide receiver.
Oh.
However, I will say this with a little grain of salt that not many people are talking about. He has to pass his medicals.
Well, he was already cleared for contact, though. That's the thing. He
has to pass his medicals in Indy. Doctors have to give the okay.
Well, the combine's over. I feel like if you didn't pass the physicals, then we would have heard about it.
Is it usually same day on physicals?
It's throughout that process, yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, teams can bring him in and evaluate him, and if I was a team looking at him, I 100% would just to make sure that clear.
He gets drafted, the NFL walks up.
Every team who's interested in him will probably bring him in for a visit and have their doctors look at him at the facility.
Yeah.
Which they should. Yeah, the amount of money they get guaranteed at signing is ridiculous.
I bet you as soon as he goes up and Roger Goodell gives him his jersey for whatever team he's drafted, he also gives him a little slip that says you're being drug tested.
Metcalf, 40.5-inch vertical, 4.33 40 time, put up 27 reps on the bench, had a 11-foot 2-inch broad jump. He finished in the 90-plus percentile for all but 2 of his drills, like Skyler said earlier. Just dominant, man. But
yeah,
physical specimen.
His thing was that surprised me the most was the 40. Did not see him run.
No one saw him getting up.
I didn't even think he'd run a 4.5.
Really?
I was going to predict.
The amount of weight he put on? That's a lot of weight to put on and then run that fast.
I was going to tweet out, and I was going to say 4.55 was going to be, that's where I thought it was going to be.
And that
Move
would
out of
still
the water.
be fantastic at his weight.
Yeah.
Because that's what linebackers run at that weight.
No, this dude, what was the official time? It was like 4.34, I think it was.
4.23 was his official.
Yeah.
I mean, that's unheard of.
It's stupid fast.
All right, you guys ready to get this conversation over with?
Quick and
His
easy.
agility. He tested very poorly in his 3-cone/shuttle drills. Actually, so poorly, in fact, that they were like almost historical lows for his position. Just to give you guys like a frame of reference, Metcalf ran a 7.38 in his cone drill. Tom Brady ran a 7.2. And then in his shuttle drill, Metcalf ran a 4.5. And Tom Brady ran a 4.38. So in those two areas, the quote-unquote agility areas, Tom Brady tested better than DK Metcalf.
I don't think it's a big deal. I went back and actually watched the cone drill. It was just technique to me. That can be easily fixed.
I mean, I'm not expecting DK Metcalf to run and bend over and touch the line and run back and forth for 5 to 10 yards. I'm throwing him the ball 10 feet in the air, and I'm going to expect him.
He's going to be a red zone threat. He's going to be, if you need a first down.
Everywhere threat.
Yeah.
Like,
To me, it has a little bit of weight, but not like it's going to deter his entire draft stock.
but like, look, like, okay, cool. He's not the most agile guy in the world. I'm not drafting him to be Tavon Austin.
Yeah, but there are other.
And you don't know if he lost that agility and plays so bad because he put on all that weight and focused on the 40 and the vertical and the bench press.
Like, he's never been like a shifty guy. He hasn't been. Who am I thinking of, man? Like, he's never been like Odell
Hopkins.
Beckham Jr. or Hopkins.
Hopkins was a big comparison because he had a bad cone drill as well, and look where he is at.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's stupid for people to compare people off of drill statistics because you could have world-class athletes go out there and compete and can't play football for shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I mean, like I said, little grain of salt, I think you want to just see him improve at his pro day.
And he will.
Yeah, no, I know he will. He's gonna go and he's gonna see those numbers and he's gonna be like, fuck.
I just think the people that don't want Metcalf to be drafted top 10 for whatever reason, or just personally don't like Metcalf,
Or just hate seeing offense drafted that high.
I guess, man, they're just claiming on to those two numbers and trying to make something a bigger deal than that.
To be fair, I probably wouldn't have him in a top 10 overall prospect. To be fair.
In this draft, no, because it's so defensive heavy.
Yes.
He's a great receiver.
And we should be saying O-line, too. And a few of them should be top 10, but there's...
However, undoubtedly he is wide receiver 1.
Oh, he buried that fade and set
Yep,
fire.
he put all doubters to shame. Even myself, who I love N'Keal Harry, he's wide receiver 2 for me now, just because he went out there and did what he had to do at the combine.
I heard some people saying Metcalf was wide receiver 1A, and then Harry was 1B.
I would be okay with that. I mean,
He's good, man.
Harry's solid. He's the guy you want to watch the tape on, not watch the Underwear Olympics. I thought it was so funny. He said, "Let me show you grown man's strength."
Did he actually say that?
I don't know. That was in our chat, I thought.
I'm pretty sure it was just, what's his name? Mello just said that, just basically like, this is what I'm going to be. Let me show you real man strength.
Well, he hit 27 on the bench, too, which everybody freaked out with Metcalf doing that, but N'Keal Harry got no press for it.
And he should have. Like, he isn't as ripped as freaking Metcalf, and he put that up. That's insane.
Yeah, you just got to train for the bench.
All you got to do. Next up, we're going to go into Jaikai Polite Combine, a top 10 pick, and a lot of mocks are right around 15 to 10 even, and he just choked it.
For me, he was never like a top 10 pick, at least in like my eyes. I know, like you said, some people did have him in the top 10 of their mocks, but man, he's not going first round. He kind of screwed the pooch on that one. It wasn't even his like actual combine performance, even though the 4.8440 he ran was the third worst among the like edge rushers considered in the draft.
Wait, what did he run?
He ran a 4.8440.
Oh, 4. I thought you said 4.44. I was like, what?
No. 4.8440. Which like 40 times for edge rushers I'm not too big on. As long as they can get the point A to the point B, I don't care.
That's your 3-cone and your shuttle that you want to look at.
Yeah, true. The big story was his interviews, the interview process he went through, and we all know. I mean, we're not NFL hopefuls. You know, we're not college players getting ready to be drafted, but
Nope.
we're very well aware of the process that happens. And then they sit you down, they interview you, they ask you
Those
a bunch
random
they ask you
questions.
off the wall questions just to test your psyche, see how you react, and understandably so. Maybe just because throwing $1 million at you, I want to see how you're going to react, how you're going to be able to handle what somebody's going to say to you. And I guess they like it very much. Came out after a couple of interviews. I think it was with the Packers.
Yes.
Actually. Yeah.
He said he got frustrated after his interview with that, and he called him part of the bashing crew, using quotations on bashing crew.
Yeah, just received the interviews very negatively. And it's one thing to kind of think that, and I kind of would too, to be honest, but to go out in front of a microphone and
on the record,
what is essentially your audition for all 32 NFL teams, and bash the process, which I'm sure every team does to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
Not good. Not a good look.
And then he came out and said the Rams are the only one that didn't bash him.
He's like, I like Sean McVay. He looks like my uncle. It's like, okay, well, it's you're limiting yourself to one team. It's probably not even going to pick you. So
Yeah, I mean, you as a player should really take that to heart if you have a quote-unquote bashing crew, because obviously there's stuff about your game or your character that teams don't like, and instead of saying, oh, they're part of the bashing crew, don't have that mindset that I'm unchangeable, I'm great as it is. You should be like, well, hold on now a second. Let me go back and look at this and see why they're saying this. And then I'm going to try and interview better and say I'm willing to work on that. I don't know what was going on.
Well, yeah, to get in details, apparently one of the teams, I don't know if it was the Packers or not, they only showed him film of all of the bad plays.
It was the Packers. It was the Packers.
And they were like, hey, what's up with this? And instead of him saying, oh, hey, here's what I did wrong, here's what I probably could have done better, and addressing his mistakes and saying, hey, I learned from that, I'm a better player.
And also could have been multiple teams have been doing that, and he finally got fed up at the Packers point too. We don't know. You know what I mean? Like, all the teams in front, or a couple teams in front, kept showing the bad tape, and he finally just got frustrated. I mean, they're young kids.
But still, man, you need to, compose yourself. This is the biggest job interview of your life.
And I understand that. I mean, but you got to put in regard, it is a kid. People are going to get frustrated, and it's part of growing up.
It's like if you get interviewed, every job you get interviewed at, what do they always ask you at? Every single
Strengths
job
and weaknesses.
Strengths and weaknesses. They're pointing out the weaknesses because if you're not willing to work on those weaknesses, they're sinking $15 million plus into you over the course of your rookie contract for nothing.
I did bring this point up, though. It does depend on the team, because some teams will value the interview more than others. So he may fall in some people's books, and others, it may not even affect them.
Well, you know what, though? He may have fallen on some team's board, but going out and doing that in public like he did, every team saw that. Every team wasn't sitting in his interview that he had when he had the quote-unquote bashing crew through.
I was going to say, look how that looks to a team who did interview him, thinking, oh, hey, if we draft this guy, something happens, is he going to run in front of a microphone? Is he going to handle it like a man, like he should have? That's character issues at that point.
Donnie, you're going to hate me. Is he going to Antonio Brown the situation?
Oh my god.
Okay. Grow a Hulk Hogan mustache, or...
But I don't know. He shouldn't have done what he did, like you said, because everybody saw that.
Well, we can all agree he's out of the first round, though. He's not in play for the first round.
I don't think he's out of play for the first round. I think there's, right at the end, we could see, after 27, there could be a team that either will take a risk on him or will trade up for him if they see the value.
I think teams know he's going to be... I wouldn't be shocked if
the Rams could take
day
him.
3 pick, like the top of the 4th round, like that one of those first
I'm
2 or
not
3
sold
picks.
quite like you are on his draft stock falling. I mean, think about it. We saw a video of Laramie Tunsil, who was going to be a top 5 pick in his draft. The video of him smoking out of a gas mask, and he fell all the way. He fell 10 or 11 spots.
Yes, but that was because somebody was trying to sabotage him.
Yeah.
His agent immediately got on the phone to repair his image, and he had interviewed well at the combine. He didn't have character concerns. And look at him now. Have you heard a peep out of him since he got drafted?
No.
Well, no, because he has a gas mask on.
But Ja'Kai reminds me a lot of a former Sun Devil who had a horrible combine. Not as bad as Ja'Kai's. Sorry. Yeah, his was worse than Ja'Kai's. Correction. Vontaze Burfict went from a consensus top 10 pick going into the combine, interviewed poorly, came in, all of his drills were horrible, and everybody questioned everything about him. Vontaze ended up being a 7th-round pick. It just screams to me that Ja'Kai is going to be somewhat like that unless he repairs the damage he did throughout between now and the draft, and his best chance to do that is going to be on his pro day, which I don't know when Florida's pro day is.
March 27th.
So March 27th, he's got time to improve his 40-yard dash, all of his other drills, and...
How did you know that?
I think he looked it up right before the podcast.
I was talking to someone on Twitter about it earlier today.
Oh, I was like, what?
So, like I said, I think...
It's like, what kind of fucking, storage database brain do you have? What?
So I think top of the 4th round, I think a team would trade up to get him, at that, Ja'Kai is still sitting there. Who's going to end his fall?
I think it'd be a steal in the 4th round, dude.
Yeah, but at the end, you have to remember, at the end of the day, you're accepting that risk.
I think he'd be a steal in the 2nd round, depending on most teams, because a lot of teams, I think he'd fall there.
I mean, you never know. Joe Mixon knocked a girl out on video and went in the 2nd round. Top 15 pick in 2nd round.
True.
So...
Well, let's move on to the rest of the combine, and let's go with who's your combine warrior? Who was the gladiator of the combine?
This should be a consensus.
Go ahead and say it, Donnie.
DK Metcalf.
What? I'm just playing.
What? Who do you got?
Wait a minute.
I'm just playing.
Yeah, just all of his drills were phenomenal. Like we said earlier, 90+ percentile in all of his drills except for the cone of the shovel. But
that dude made some money.
He made a lot of money in Indy over the weekend.
Know what? He may have cut up chicken wings between now and between his senior football season and the combine, but he just bought enough. He got enough money from doing so to go buy him a boatload of ass chicken wings.
So going off of that, besides Metcalf, who's your 2 combine winners? We'll just go one each around. We'll start with Austin.
I think Greedy Williams had a solid combine. I think he was a winner. He showed... He didn't perform well in his drills. Yeah. However, his concern was he didn't have the top-end speed to run with any of the NFL receiver talent. They thought he was going to run the 4.5, 4.6 range and came out and ran a 4.38.
All right.
I think he was a winner in that regards because the only corner in the group that had a solid all-around day was Byron Murphy out of Washington.
True, and even before the combine, Byron Murphy was getting a lot of hype, essentially going for Greedy Williams.
As he deserves to be, but, Greedy answered the biggest question about him and has time to improve on his drill work between now and his pro day. Whenever it was. What is it, Skyler?
I actually don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
We're good.
Don't get me crazy.
We're back to earth, everybody. Donnie, who was your combine winner?
So one of them was going to be Devin Bush, linebacker.
Sucked. That was my number 2.
It's all good. It's all good, man. I think Devin White cemented his status as linebacker number 1 for sure. He had another phenomenal combine, so you probably tag him as one of those. Devin Bush ran a 4.4340, which is...
Okay, did anybody see that coming?
Fucking nuts. No.
I didn't see him running a 4.43.
No, I this is going to sound really bad. Maybe I just haven't, watched the right plays. But Devin Bush didn't, scream speedster like Devin White does. At least from, what I've seen. But no, Devin Bush tested extremely well at the combine. Kind of like DK, made himself a lot of money. And I think he's the second linebacker to go off the board.
I think his floor is Pittsburgh.
Hey, come on now. Need you.
My winner's going to be Jonah Williams out of Alabama. Even though his bench press wasn't too good, his technique looked great at the combine. And I think even with this 40, we don't really take into consideration for the O-line. But all the rest of it, he looked like the top O-line in this draft.
All right, my second winner, and I'm very surprised none of you said this, Kyler Murray. He was the big winner, measuring in at 5'10", 210.
Yeah, he showed up to get weighed in his height, and he walked out. He was like, "Yep, I won. That's it."
You know what though? What was his? He answered the biggest question about him and put himself firmly in play for the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
So I'm actually going to go quarterback Dwayne Haskins. I think out of the quarterbacks that actually, wanted to be drafted in Indianapolis this weekend, he definitely showed out. I think he showed off his arm strength, his accuracy. I think, out of the quarterback group that was there in Indy, he shined, and he I don't want to say he put himself in like top 5, potential draft spots. But outside of Kyler Murray, I think he's QB1, solely based off of combine.
So he's QB2.
Sorry, yeah.
Okay.
I said outside, right?
Outside of Kyler Murray, but you just say he's QB2.
Okay, yeah, no, he's QB2. So far, purely based off of the combine. But when you go and watch film, it's a different story. So,
yeah.
My last winner is going to be Quentin Williams, just because that dude, we didn't think that dude was going to be that fast. It was Ed Oliver that was that was getting comparisons to Aaron Donald, but Quentin Williams should be right up there. That dude was a monster the whole freaking combine. Dude is a lot quicker than people thought, and that's a big man running around. I think he's over 300, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's like 330. I think that's what he weighed in at.
That's insane.
Quentin Williams, 305.
305? What?
I thought it was more than that. I thought it was like around 350.
He's just over 300.
Still big. That's a lot of weight to run around at what? It was like 4.5. It's insane for his numbers that he put up.
Quentin Williams?
Yeah.
He ran a 4.85. 4.83.
We're talking about the same dude. I feel like we're getting mixed up.
The D-line Alabama.
Yes.
So, Quentin Williams, did you guys hear about his breakfast that morning?
No.
The combine?
No.
So he said the breakfast he had that day was 4 double stuffed Oreos.
Oh my gosh.
My man.
Do you have his weight?
Yes, it's 303 pounds per Bleacher Report.
Maybe I can next to Ed Oliver. Anyways, Quentin Williams still was a beast of the combine. He was super quick.
Ed Oliver is like 280.
Yeah.
Still, Quentin Williams is getting pushed up. People are even considering people are going to trade up for him at 3 or even 2. I don't think the 49ers are going to bite on it, though, for Quentin Williams, but he's definitely raised his stock for people wanting to trade up for him.
Yeah, I think Quentin Williams is going to be the number 3 pick.
If the 49ers took him at number 2, it wouldn't be... I'm just saying, it wouldn't be horrible, you know what I mean? Because you get an amazing player, but Bosa's number 2 lock.
Yeah, I think that if the Niners, if Bosa goes 1, I think the Niners bail out.
No. They would just be like, all right, who's up next? Unless they really like Williams or even like Rashawn Gary, something like that.
Yeah.
Biggest losers. Do you have a loser, Austin?
I do have a loser, but I don't think his draft stock took too big of a hit, but he does have
So
questions.
a little loser.
Little loser. DeAndre Baker out of Georgia. Came in, didn't measure as tall as he was supposed to be. Mm-hmm. Doesn't have the arms or the range that he was when he measured in. And, you make up for that with having blazing speed. He unfortunately did not run the best. He ran, I think, a 4.55. He ran in the 4.5s. So I think that he's still going to be, because of his tape, a top 40 pick. Yeah. But he didn't do anything to boost his stock like he was supposed to.
He could have hurt his stock, or he could have just kept it the same. Didn't do much to it.
Oh, hold on. I do want to interrupt us. We forgot one person that made themselves a ton of money, and Richie would be screaming at us for forgetting this person for a winner.
Who?
Montez Sweat.
Oh, yeah.
True.
How the hell did we forget about that?
I guess it's just take his freak athleticism for granted.
Yeah. 6'6", 441. Anyways, shout out to Richie.
Yeah, congrats, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Congrats
our
to our
Richie Bradshaw popped the question early Monday morning per sources, she said yes. So Richie's going to sign her to a lifetime contract looking around January. Details of it have not been released quite
half of my
not into the new year when the new market opens.
My assets.
Shout out to Richie. Congrats, man.
Congrats, Richie.
Happy buddy.
Who's your loser?
It seems like an easy way out, but Ja'Kai Polite. It's terrible, man.
Yeah,
how do you
bad.
How do you fuck yourself like that? Just on the field.
He's like the biggest hit out of everyone at the combine.
Yeah, I would say so. I would liken his draft stock hit to probably falling like Orlando Brown did last year. Because remember, Orlando Brown, the tackle out of Oklahoma, he ran that like 40 times really badly, and then he didn't test well in any of the drills, and then draft stock plummeted. So I think it's kind of the same scenario here.
Mine is going to be, and you guys will probably agree with this, Georgia running back Elijah Holyfield.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting him to run a blazing...
I didn't think he'd run that slow, though.
Yeah.
That hurt.
That was bad. But he's a bigger back. He is a thumper.
Yeah,
he's a big thumper with that speed now.
His draft stock for me personally didn't take too big of a hit, but I understand why. He's
He better
He'll
get it
He'll
up.
be a third round pick.
We better get his time up for his pro day.
No, I think even if he doesn't, he's a third round pick.
I don't know. I mean, not a lot of people looking for thumpers right now. You know what I mean? Speed kills is what's going on right now. Your second loser.
This is going to be a combination of things for me, but Marquise Brown is my second loser.
Really?
Comes into the combine, weighs in at 166 pounds. That is super light.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, 2 days beforehand or 3 days beforehand, whatever it was, I have a Liz Frank injury. I'm not going to be ready until training camp. So I'm not going to run. I'm not going to do 8 tests. But I have a Liz Frank injury that should have been healed up by now. I think his draft stock took a hit.
I wouldn't disagree. Donnie.
So my second loser is going to be Texas receiver Lil Jordan Humphrey. Ran a 4.79 and a 4.75 for his 240 attempts. We're talking about Elijah Holyfield being slow. For a receiver, Lil Jordan Humphrey tested at the very bottom of all receivers in 40 times. That's like tight end 40 times right there. That's not a good sign. Also, he only put up 13 reps on the bench press, so he's not showing the strength he should have. You know, it's either one or the other. You know, if you want him to, you know, not be like a strong guy, you want him to be fast. You know, you at least want to have one of the two. Either strong or he's fast. You know, hopefully it's a mixture of both. But no, I think Humphrey really saw his draft stock plummet over the weekend.
My second loser, just a little loser, I think is Greedy Williams, just how we showed his footwork and awareness on his drill. Watching his backpedal, he kept turning early, and it just seemed kind of lost in the drill. I don't know if it was just a bad day for him, but I definitely think his stock took a hit off of that.
The one thing I'll say about that with, like, their footwork and all that stuff didn't look good, you can coach that.
Definitely.
One thing you can't coach is speed.
Sure. But, you know, for outside looking at scouts, are definitely going to bring that up going back to the GM. Next up, let's see here. We're going to go into what is the one thing you change about the combine?
I hate that it's on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Amen.
Just put it all Friday night, Saturday all day, and Sunday all day.
Let us normal people be able to watch it. We like to see it too. Us bookworms at home and trying to study and be professionals, we need to be able to see it live.
Yeah, I thought for sure I was going to be able to stream it. I wasn't.
Yeah, I heard a lot of people are getting a lot of issues with trying to stream it. And
Yeah,
it was
no, you literally can't. Like, you couldn't. At least whenever I looked on the first day, there was no stream. Even on Reddit, there was no stream for it.
wow.
That's weird.
Which certainly don't use Reddit for streams. that would be illegal.
Yeah.
What are you talking about, Johnny?
There's actually a couple things I would change about the combine. One, I think it'd be cool to see, like, positions, like, flop drills. I want to see, like, linemen, like, run downfield and try to, like, catch a pass and, like, go through, like, the gauntlet.
Oh my gosh.
Balls and stuff.
Oh, Jesus.
Either that or, like, select, like, random fans who have been talking shit on Twitter and have them, like, do drills side by side with, like, one of the top guys.
Whoever they're talking shit
yeah,
about.
if somebody was, like, talking shit about, let's say, like, DK Metcalf, have him run to 40 right next to DK. DK Metcalf, sorry.
That'd be great.
I think that'd be cool.
I actually have one real quick. You know how, like, in the NFL Pro Bowl, they do, like, the new catches where it was, like, overhand and stuff like that? Add that into the combine for the receivers, just so you can get, like, the overhand.
They do.
Different catches like that. No, you stand still. And they throw it, and you're just, like... So, like, you get the different, like...
Do you want it to be, like, a game thing, or it's just, like...
You want it to be like the Pro Bowl skills. No, dude, no.
No, make it like a skills challenge. I mean, that wouldn't be horrible to have that in the combine.
I'd rather run a fly route and catch it over your shoulder. They're never going to stand there and just...
It's for more like their foot awareness. Like, you're a sideline and you're trying to get overhand, and you have the sideline, stuff like that. It's more like...
Yeah, but you're standing still when the ball is thrown. I'd rather see them running around. I don't know. One other thing I would change is I would have it open one more day, and I'd have it to where fans can come in, they can pay to go down to the field, and do the drills that all those guys did.
That'd be cool, yeah.
Yeah.
That'd make a lot
Either
of money,
the day
too.
before or the day after. Probably the day after, because I'd want peak conditions for the field and everything for the players. But the next day, I would leave it open 9 to 5, whatever business hours they want to do, and be like, oh, hey, this is where they run the 40. You can line up to run the 40.
I think our league might have to go and do that if they ever open that up.
Fuck, dude.
Do you think it'd be a good idea to also open up for like signatures and stuff too, like autographs from the top players in the draft?
That'd be cool.
If you do that, it has to be free. Well, no, I wouldn't do that.
They're not college players anymore.
They're technically free
Yeah, but
agents.
somebody's got to pay them.
Pay who?
Them.
Technically,
Players
no.
to sign autographs.
No, because the agents can say this is publicity. And you just,
Why would they have to pay somebody?
Well, they'd have to pay for everybody to be there to facilitate the whole thing.
Oh,
And
that's what
you would. Well, no, and also those guys are not going to want to go and sit and sign autographs. They're going to want to go and train for whatever they have to get ready for because it's a day.
no, they're going to be a Big Mac because the combine's over.
No, you may think that they're going to go eat Big Macs or whatever, but they are going to go and still continue to get peak training because they have the biggest day of their lives coming up.
True.
What drill would you dominate in if you were in the NFL Combine?
Oh, dude, 40-yard dash. I'm just kidding. I suck. I can't run. Bench press. I would be very solid at bench.
All right.
The gauntlet where you run and catch passes with left and right shoulders.
3-cone drill.
There you go. Schmidt would love you.
Oh, yeah.
I love the 3-cone drill. I hate the 40. Just like whenever I used to run the 40, it was just looking at 40 yards like this is the worst 40 yards of my life going full speed. It just sucks. I pulled. No, it's fun fact. When I did my 40, it actually derailed some of my high school career because I actually pulled my quad and I was out for a couple of weeks. I had to get physical therapy on it. Sucked.
Really?
On my 40 when I was being timed for my junior year.
Really?
Yep. And it was not. We didn't even have to run it. They were just doing it to kind of like test us and to see where we're at.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even mandatory. Pissed me off.
That's crazy.
I think that's really it for now, guys.
I have a surprise for you. So my favorite part of the combine, and we kind of alluded to this earlier, are the questions
Oh,
that
no.
are asked.
Please tell me you don't know.
So I found some real life questions some NFL prospects were asked during the combine. I thought I'd ask you guys. All right, let's go first.
Austin, you gotta go first.
Austin, do you find your mother attractive?
I'm hot as fuck. Because I'm hot as fuck.
Skyler, do you like men?
Yeah, I'll love all men equally.
Austin, when did you lose your virginity?
16.
It's impressive. Skyler, is your mother a prostitute?
Damn!
You know who got asked that question? Des Bryant.
No way!
Yeah, dude.
See, that one threw me. I would take a minute to think of that one.
What you say about my mother?
Don't talk about my mother like that!
Austin, what is your murder weapon of choice?
Gun.
A gun? Yes, man. Alright, Skyler, would you rather be a cat or a dog? Remember, you're gonna be playing football, so would you rather be a cat or a dog?
I'd rather be a dog, loyal to my team.
Yes. Where are you sitting on a bus, speeding on a mountain?
Speeding on a mountain, I'm probably in the front because I'm a leader.
Alright.
Good one.
Skyler, where does the sun rise and where does it set?
Wherever I tell it to.
Okay. Austin, would you share your internet history with us?
Sure. I got nothing to hide.
Okay. Skyler, what color is chocolate?
It's chocolate.
Yeah, no, dude, these are real ass questions asked, man. Austin, boxers or briefs?
Briefs.
I like boxer briefs personally.
I do too.
Okay. Skyler, how many ways could you use a brick in a minute?
Can you give me a minute to think?
Yeah. Give me a break, I'll see.
Okay. Austin, what team do you pick in Madden?
Green Bay.
Alright. Skyler, what kind of fish are you?
I was getting all the funny questions.
Shit, I'm a shark because I attack.
It's not a fish. It's a shark.
Shark is a fish!
Austin, are you afraid of clowns?
No.
Alright. Gentlemen, that concludes...
Oh my god, a good answer to that. Are you afraid of clowns? I'm afraid of you guys. Does that count?
I am the clown.
Thank you for conducting this interview. Just please don't go out and badmouth me. You know, so.
Yeah, all Donnie did was bash Skylar. This is some
Yeah, he did. Hard questions. How to use a brick in under a minute. I don't believe it.
all he did was ask me the hard one.
I saw him asking my counterpart, and they were asking if his mom's a prostitute and stuff. It wasn't even hard.
You were asked the prostitute question.
Shut up! Anyways, thank you guys for joining the Pylon to Pylon podcast. Proud partners of the Downtown Rams Network. Feel free to catch us on Spreaker, iTunes, SoundCloud. Any questions, concerns, go to the ptppodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on any of those Twitter and whatnot at the PTP podcast, or even catch us on downtownrams.com. Guys, anything else you want to throw in before we close it out?
No.
Excellent.
Well, no, hold on.
Oh, we do.
I do want to comment on the Twitter thread with this and let us know who your combine winner was and your combine loser.
All right. With that being said, this is Skylar Burkhart.
Austin Frizilgo.
Mouthful of pretzel.
Have a great night, guys.